Hi, it's Darren here from the Healthy Mind Project. I got a few questions for you. Do you sometimes get a crushing pain in your chest? Do you find you get dizziness, headaches, visual disturbances like blurred vision or some flashing lights? Do you have upset stomach, problems sleeping, tingling? Do you feel your brain is fuzzy? Do you feel that you're not really here? These are just some of the symptoms of anxiety and panic attacks that I've experienced in the past. So I want to talk a little bit about some of these symptoms that some of you may be going through and experiencing. I used to have panic attacks and extremely debilitating anxiety, which ended up in my becoming agoraphobic. I can say now, hand on heart, that I'm now recovered. I haven't had a panic attack for a very long time, and my anxiety is now down to normal levels, and I now lead what we can say a normal, healthy life, functioning, working, socializing. So I'll tell you a little bit about my story and some of the symptoms, because I know the symptoms are some of the most worrying things when you have panic attacks and anxiety. But how you view those symptoms can sort of define whether you stay stuck in the cycle of anxiety or whether you're able to slowly work your way out of the panic and anxiety cycle. My first panic attack was 9 years ago, and it was just before a major life transition. I was moving from one country to another, which I thought wasn't actually bothering me, maybe subconsciously it was bothering me. But I remember very clearly my first panic attack. I was in the kitchen making a tea, and suddenly I had a numbness in this hand, which started to work up the wrist, further up here. And I remember somebody telling to me once, if you get numbness traveling up your arm, it can be the sign of the onset of a heart attack. So with this thought, I just focused on what was happening in my arm. The numbness then came up here. As soon as the numbness got to my shoulder, all hell broke loose inside of my mind and inside of my body. My heart just started pounding so hard and in a very irregular way. It was pounding so hard it felt like it was going to come out of my chest. I couldn't breathe, at least it felt that way. I started to feel dizzy. I was tense and an absolutely debilitating fear. I was just absolutely terrified. I had all sorts of rushes of hormones going through my body that I hadn't felt before, and I was really convinced that this is it. I'm having a heart attack. I'm about to die. So I called the emergency services. An ambulance came to my home very quickly, and they took me to the hospital, and they did all of the usual tests, blood tests to check electrolytes. They took an ECG, all of the usual things that they would check for any particular heart problems. All of the tests came back clear. So I was discharged that day, and I went home, and I was absolutely traumatized by the feelings I had in my body and the intense fear that I've never had before in my life. I've never experienced any kind of terror to that level. So I was very distraught when I got home, and somehow managed to sleep. And then the next day, I remember talking to my friends and saying this really weird thing happened to me. And sure enough, the next day, bang, same thing happened again. In the chest, tight squeezing feeling, dizziness, couldn't breathe, very intense fear, rushes of different hormones going through the body. And I went to the hospital, was checked again, and all of the results again clear. To cut a long story short, I I then developed panic attacks. They were happening very frequently, sometimes several times a day. And my mental state went from being a normal, functioning, happy, optimistic person to someone who became a hypochondriac, extremely anxious all of the time, fearful, paranoid. I became agoraphobic. I couldn't leave the house. Even going from one room to the other, often I was so convinced that there was something wrong with my body and that the doctors hadn't found that by somehow walking from this room to the next room, that I would end up pushing my body too far and dying. I became a hypochondriac. As I said, every little sensation I had in my body, I became so obsessed with everything that was happening in my body. And for me, a certain tightness in the leg or a pain in my head would mean that I've got some kind of undiagnosed, life-threatening disease. The symptoms that I had were so numerous. I remember one visit to the doctor, he said, okay, come prepared with your symptoms. I wrote a list that filled an A4 page of paper of all of the symptoms that I was experiencing, from visual disturbances, feelings that I can't breathe properly, pains, squeezing in the chest, dizziness, insomnia, lots of tension in the body, some tingling feelings in the chest. Also, I used to get tingling in my arms, sometimes my legs, sometimes it would be down one side of the face. And also this brain fog where I just felt that I wasn't really here, that I was somehow a little bit intoxicated and I wasn't really seeing or feeling things clearly. So if you have some or all of these symptoms, you have to be aware, as at the time I couldn't really see it because I was just so wrapped up in the fear, but those symptoms were of my creating. I created them with my mind because I was so tense. And the more I focused on my body and the symptoms I was looking for little alarm sounds in my body in terms of tension and pains, and I became so tense that that's what was making the symptoms. So I can really, really sympathize and empathize with you because I remember it was really a living hell that I was in, but there is hope. I haven't had a panic attack for a long time. I suffered with them for about 4 years. And I would make frequent visits to the doctor. I would end up in the hospital ER room sometimes 3 times a month. And I would see doctors very frequently. But you can get over them. How did I do it? Part of it is realizing that you are creating the symptoms. I know when you're in the middle of the panic and anxiety, it's really hard to see that. But a lot of the symptoms I was getting, I was creating them. Of course, if you're really worried that what you're experiencing is something serious like a heart attack, obviously don't ignore that. But after some time, if you keep having these symptoms and you're being checked and the doctor's saying no, it's not, then maybe it's time to start thinking about how you are creating those symptoms yourself and having faith in yourself, believing in yourself and having faith in the doctors, and then trying some techniques to relax more. Also maybe look at your diet. What are you eating? What you're eating and drinking is also going to affect your body. For example, eating too many sugars is obviously going to increase your anxiety. Things like alcohol, caffeine, whatever substances maybe you're ingesting or smoking also are going to affect your... So try stripping back to eating healthily as much as you can, vegetables, fruits, and try some exercise. I found that exercise really helped me. I know that there's also a problem with that you may be scared of exercising. That was certainly the case for me. But what I did is I gave myself little goals. So for example, when I was really scared of going up, I would at first set myself the goal of just walking around the block. And then I would do that for a few days, and then I would set myself the next goal of working a little bit further. And if you feel that you panic, it's okay. You can go back. Don't be hard on yourself. That's also an important part. Don't be hard on yourself if you feel that you've set yourself this goal and you don't quite reach it. It's okay. You can go back and you can try another time. Eventually you will get there. I remember in the height of my panic, I wanted to go start swimming. The swimming pool is about a 2 kilometer, about a mile and a little bit from my house, and it was up a hill. And I remember walking up the hill, starting to walk up the hill, and all of a sudden I panicked. And I thought, that's it, I'm having a heart attack. So I went back home. And I was pretty hard on myself, but then I realized, no, if you're being hard on yourself, you're never going to achieve this. So the next day I tried again, and I got a little bit further. And after a few days of getting a little bit further up the hill, I made it to the swimming pool. And then I started swimming. At first I just got into the pool and just relaxed, enjoyed the feeling of the water. And then eventually I was swimming lengths, and then after some time I was swimming a lot. I was swimming 1,000, 2,000 meters a session and doing a lot of walking. I ended up walking, up to 10, 15, 10 kilometers in a day. But it takes time. Your recovery, you have to be gentle with yourself and compassionate with yourself. So to summarize this video, I want you to say that try to realize how you're creating your symptoms and be gentle on yourself. Be gentle on yourself. I hope this video has helped some of you. If you have any questions, then please put them in the comments box below. And I just wish you a peace of mind and happiness. Okay?